Hello, and welcome to another Dokkan video. It is late in the night for me right now, but I was scrolling through Twitter. Actually, I was in the shower because this is just something I like that I do from time to time. Because typically when I take a shower, it's late, and then my either Dokkan stuff, Legend stuff, kind of gets tweeted out around that time. So I'm kind of looking at it, and I saw this. Now this is from Polarity. And you may have seen him from some infamous hot takes he made. And if you've seen those hot takes, a lot of his placements in this tier list are based around those takes. So I would definitely say get yourself a little refresher on the boys' takes here. He has some pretty wonky takes, mainly bad takes, I think, is where it mainly stands from. And he's been talking about this for a while, right? He's been ranting and blah 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 about tier lists. And so he made this tier list, which is his top 70 units in the game. Now, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, right? But sometimes opinions are wrong. And that's what's great about opinions, that they can be very, very, very wrong. So wrong. Oh my, so wrong, right? And I think this might be genuinely probably one of the worst tier lists I've ever seen in the game, like history ever. And let's just dive into it, and we'll go on little mini tangents as we go, because bait used to be believable, right? Bait used to be funny. Bait used to have like merit. And he says it's not bait, and this got to be bait, right? He's got to be trolling. Like it gets to a point where people, it's just not believable, right? And it mainly comes from Ultimate Gohan people, and I get it. Funny Ultimate Gohan character, everyone wanted to be Beast, and y'all cope so hard that y'all just believe everything you want to believe, and it's kind of insane to me. But let's just dive into it. Number one, Orange Piccolo. I'm not going to argue with that because I don't really mind. Number two is already where we start getting into kind of like the quirky situations here with the blue guys. And see, the thing about them, right, is let's just go to them real quick to the future. Is I made a bunch of videos right when they came out where I said that people were overhating them. Right? But you still can't take away the fact that they do have a genuine problem once their intro runs out, if that ends up happening. Now, I have always made the argument that if you pretty much got supered at all with them, like before that turn ran up, you were more than likely going to transform into Vegito on turn 5 and, do that. But like we can't sit here and argue like that's not a thing that happens. And the problem is with Polarity and a couple other people specifically, is this category right here. Where is it at? This one. The superhero category. Now, I think people have like this weird misconception in the game right now. And it all stems from this. People think if you're on the superhero category, you are automatically better than other characters, which is the explanation for a lot of the units on this list. And the sole reason that people make this argument is because of Orange Piccolo. Now, Orange Piccolo is able to turn into his giant form and pretty much protect people for 2 to 3 turns, and then make it so that once you come out of that, there cannot be any super attacks, and it makes like living things a whole lot easier. And you can pretty much do that immediately on turn 3. Now, that ends up making it so that on turn 4, when you come out, there's no super attacks, and then turn 5, you're pretty much safe. And by that time, since his active skill does damage, and you're presumably running 2 of them, you can pop both. Things become a whole lot easier, and by that time, you should be done with the fight, right? The problem with that is you can't use that as an argument for other units, because that's not them being good. That's just Orange Piccolo being good. And if you have to get rid of the boss's entire mechanic for a unit to be runnable, the unit isn't that good. It's the same thing when people discuss items, and if you use items, is it valid for your run? And it's the same thing. You're using external factors in order to make a unit better. It's not the unit's actual performance themselves in a vacuum. You're just taking them onto a team where one character is hard carrying them and just saying, oh, I won the fight with this character, therefore they're good, right? That's not how this works. It just doesn't work like that. And as you can say, oh, well, I have a screenshot of me winning and no iteming it with this unit on my team, and you have to be really good. And I don't mean this as any disrespect to Polarity or any people that make this argument. I just mean purely that's not a good argument. I could do hundreds of attempts with the goofiest setup, and if I win one time no item it, I can just make the argument, oh, this trash unit is good. It's like when Physical Kami came out and Truth did a bunch of videos where he brought Physical Kami into things, and every time he got a thing, it was like, oh, look, I guess Physical Kami's good, right, guys? We all know Physical Kami sucks. But he was able to no item with Physical Kami. It is an RNG based game. So eventually you're going to get victories with these characters. And if you have a character that makes things easier, i.e. Orange Piccolo, who's able to basically protect other characters, it's going to end up happening more often. That's where people get this misconception that characters like Ultimate Gohan, Sword of Hope Trunks, right? 17. What other characters are on here that people think, oh yeah, for this guy, for some reason, the LR Gods, where there's other characters in here that are like that he puts really high up for no reason other than the fact that Orange Piccolo can carry, and I think that's stupid. And I'm going to assume at the same time Vegito is in there, because obviously if you pop 2 Orange Piccolo turns, you're more than likely going to pop out on turn like 6 after not having to deal with super attacks, and you're probably going to end up fusing with the guaranteed fuse. So that's where that comes from. And I think that's a dumb argument. So any character that is on the superhero team, this guy is rating significantly higher purely because Orange Piccolo is really good. And I think that is the dumbest argument to be made in the entire game. And he pretty much makes that argument for a lot of characters, i.e. Beast, Sword of Hope. These units have problems. We cannot sit here and act like these units don't have problems. They have significant issues. Let's just take a look at Beast and Sword of Hope, right? Beast's main problem is he has a singular key link in Shocking Speed. He gets 1 key per key sphere, but he needs to get so much key in order to actually like stack up. Plus, even if you do get the key, you still have to RNG into super attacks in order for him to actually build up. And a lot of times there is instances where you'll not even be able to build him up before the end of the fight or before his card runs out. And then, he's a sitting, crying little baby, and he is kind of trash. Granted, you can use the active skill as 1 stack of his passive. And I've always kind of said that I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people say he is. But at the same time, using him on the superhero team is not an argument to say that he's good. Same thing goes for Sword of Hope Trunks. This guy has significant issues. He's really, really good. He does a lot of damage really, really fast. And when you pop into his standby mode, he is incredibly strong. It's just that we cannot forget how brittle this guy is super early. He needs the stacks. He needs the super first. He needs to get going. Once he gets going, yeah, he's really, really good. I think he's really good for Omega. He's not so good with the shorter fights, because then he gets super attacked one time, he takes a bunch of damage, and it gets really sad, right? And again, he's another one of these RNG characters who needs the super attack to get his actual defensive mechanics. And you can't just say, oh, well, I got it and it works, so therefore he's good. Like that. Let's be real. Let's just be real. We cannot intentionally act like this shit doesn't happen, because it does, and it happens a lot, right? 23rd World Tournament Goku, Future Gohan, and Bulma, I think, are all very, very good. Now, I don't like mixing TWRs in with LRs, because I feel like there's a different really class of character here. However, with 23rd World Tournament Goku, he is quite good. However, I don't even think he's the best TWR in the game right now. And one of my favorite TWRs in the game that I do think is actually in contention to potentially be up there in like the top echelon of characters, probably like top 20, top 10, top 15-ish characters, is a character this man has at number 55. And I think that's insane. Right? So we're going to make this quick. Again, we've talked about all these main characters. Got Goku, I think he's good. He's just a very balanced character. Good. Gohan and Piccolo, I did a video on them. They're cool. I don't like the base form of them. I think the base form is kind of iffy. Sure, if you get them on turn 2, and they revive, Gohan comes out, it's pretty good. But before that, it's really rough for them. I hate the fact that their damage reduction is conditional. based on whether or not you take damage. Like, for instance, if they get AoE'd before they attack and they fall below 70% HP, because they will, right? Or someone gets supered or anything at all, you will immediately lose the damage reduction. They take 1 billion damage, they die. That is very common. Incredibly common. And I think it's just not fun. Gamma 1, this man's, even with guard and his damage reduction, before it's fully built up, he takes a lot of damage, and we cannot sit here and act like he doesn't. Even with his android links, this man takes so much damage. It is unreal how much damage this man takes. And I love Gamma 1. I think he's really cool. He's just not that guy anymore, and that's fine. 17, he's a decent support, but again, he's on the superhero team, so Polarity thinks he's amazing, and I think that is just kind of ridiculous. Because you can even see here, superhero wins. It's not superhero that's winning, it's Orange Piccolo that's winning. It's a different thing. Just because he's on the team doesn't make him automatically better than other characters. That's just dumb. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I do genuinely like him. I think he's better than all 4 of these TURs that are above him here. The problem with Super Saiyan 3 Goku is, for some reason, mine just doesn't feel like dodging, and I think that sucks. But once he is dodging and everything, if you have good RNG with him, he's absolutely phenomenal, and then he does really, really good damage with his standby skill, and then you pop out and you get some chance to dodge. He has a lot of mechanics to him that I think is going to make him age really, really well, and I do like him a lot. Zamasu, I do think he is a top 10 LR in the game, so I don't really have a problem with him being high. People overrate this Krillin, man. Granted, I do think he is basically like the hidden Dokkan Fest TUR of last year. He's just not. Let's be honest with ourselves, bro. Like, I've seen some ridiculous Krillin shenanigans on Twitter, man. And we just gotta stop. Let's just calm down just a little bit with him. Vegeta and Trunks being this high is kind of crazy to me, especially when you have other LRs, specifically more recent LRs that are far lower. His thing is, with Future, you get the turn 3 active skill, they give the defensive buff, and then you win. Sure, but they're very, very brittle early on, and on a lot of the fights nowadays that are really, really hard right at the start, they just get smacked. And it's just kind of sad watching them explode. They have the same problem Game 1 does, right? They need to get hit, but they can't eat the hits. The only one who really can eat the hits is Orange Piccolo. So these guys just struggle really hard until they're built up, and then you have to get the stacks of their passive and everything. It gets like a lot. The Super Saiyans, I actually think they're a lot better than a couple of these characters. Mainly, I think they're better than Zamasu, Beast Gohan, Sword of Hope Trunks, and even like the Blues. I just really like them. I think they're like the damage unit done right. Like, they can do a lot of damage. They can tank if they get the super attack first. They do really, really, really strong damage, and you're able to really blitz fights. If you watched my Super Saiyan video, then you've seen what they're capable of. So I do think that they're significantly better than what people are making them out to seem. So again, I don't really have a problem with them being this low. I just think they're better than characters like Trunks and Beast. Piccolo, he's up here because Orange Piccolo is his best linking partner. That's why he's up here. I don't really have too much of a problem with that. I think he is a really good easy TUR. Again, he just has the same problems. He needs to build up, and if he's not built up, he's going to get smacked. Now, Vegito is an interesting one here, because if he doesn't get super attacked, he's perfectly fine, and he does actually pretty solid things like tanking. It's just if he does get super attacked, he explodes, and it's sad. So he's not this crazy, and he's definitely not like top 3 easy ATUR in the game level, and that's ridiculous. So let's just take that down a notch, because that's insane to me. Bird Goku, he's literally just better Future Gohan and Trunks, right? Technically, if you want to be real, like they're basically the same unit, except like they have the turn 3 active skill that gives you defense, and he has a revive. So they're very, very similar. They have the same problems. They need to get hit. They die when they get hit. They need a super. They die before they super. I think this is one weird thing here. This is the 60% physical support. This is the worst support unit in the game of the 60% supports by far. The only reason he's up here, I'm guaranteeing you this, is because he's probably running. Let's see here. I just want to make a clarification here. What is this? It's Battle of Wits, right? Let's see here. Battle of Wits. Is he on here? 60% support Trunks? Or Gohan. He's really old, so I'm trying to find him if he's on here. 60% support. Oh, I don't think he is actually. Oh, because like this is who he's buffing. This is who he's buffing, and making it easier for this guy to be good. But I just don't. I just don't like that. Him and then sort of Hope, but I think by far he's the worst of the 60% supports. I just don't like him as much as people like Pan, Rildo, Kaba, Hit. I think all of them are better. Gohan, I think like the int kid Gohan, I think he's a lot better than the physical Gohan. I think physical is just a surprisingly a kind of weak type. The best physical character we have probably is Sword of Hope Trunks, and he's not even that good. So it's kind of awkward. This Piccolo's only up here because of Orange Piccolo. These guys are up here because they have the Ghost Usher. And I think putting them this high on a list is kind of ridiculous because you're just hoping that they never get touched ever, and you just win the fight by then. And you're literally playing with fire and hoping that your RNG goes absolutely perfectly, and if it doesn't, you literally lose. Again, these guys are up here purely because of Superhero, and I think that is stupid. Just brain rot activities. Texel, I think, is another one of the worst 60% supports. Extreme Tech is not that good. The best Extreme Tech character in the game is Fusion Zamasu, and they don't link very well. And then Texel himself, his super tech effects are nothing really that crazy. Like if we go to Texel, he just gets 50% defense. Like he can be good, right? But being tech is very hard, especially when you want to be ran alongside 3 other tech characters, right? Like on Global Chaos, let's see, who were we running? Zamasu. I don't know if the friend counts. I'm pretty sure it does. And then you're running him. And then these guys, right? That's probably what he's doing, is on Global Chaos on Zamasu team. And I get it. I feel like it could definitely be good. It's just I think that's you're wishing for a lot to go right. And I don't think that's gonna end up happening as consistently as he's making it out to seem. Because a lot of these people play on the private server where they're able to do runs infinitely. And realistically, it just doesn't happen as well as they imagine it to. Kai Goku, I do think is actually really, really solid. I do think he's probably in like the top 10-ish. Nothing crazy, but like he's, again, I think he's better than Future Gohan, or than the Future like duo, the Father Son Galakun, as well as Bird Goku. They're very similar mechanics. I just like his tankiness a lot better. Plus, he has the heal. I like that a lot. So I'm not upset with that one. Pan, I think, is probably the best of the 60% supports. That 2-turn 30%, 35% buff is really, really good, and I like that a lot for her. So I don't think she's actually pretty good. Physical Beerus, I do think, is one of the better easy TURs. He has a really good setup right now with like the other gods that got awakened. It's just that nothing else really is that good for him. If he had a better team, I'd probably put him higher. But as of right now, he really just doesn't. But I think if he gets like a better 200% lead, he'll be really, really powerful, and I do like that a lot for him. Plus, again, he's physical. Kid Goku, again, I think he's really strong, except I think there's TURs in the game that are better than him, and that are below him right now. And I'm about to get to them, and it's astonishing that they're this low on this list, and it's kind of crazy. Goaz and Zamasu, they are dodge or die. If they don't dodge, they literally explode. Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Now, a lot of people have been hitting on him recently because he gets smacked in the Dismal Future Red Zone, but he absolutely demolishes Omega Shenron. It's kind of insane. And the problem with him is he is a late game character more than he is an early game character. So a lot of people are like, oh, he sucks in the Future Red Zone, so he must be terrible. And I think that's just not the case. I do like him a lot. He's just not built for the content that they're releasing at the moment. If the anniversary content is long, he's going to be amazing. Rudigarn, he just doesn't have a team. He should be way higher than Kid Goku and the androids and Krillin and stuff. Gamma 1, definitely he's better than them, but it's just he doesn't have a team right now, so it's kind of just awkward for him. The GT duo here is, I think, the most disrespected character on this entire list, and that is because Polarity is a fool, I'm pretty sure. He's just professionally idiotic, I guess. And that is because mainly his problem with them, as he mentions it, it's right around, where is it? Yeah, intentionally stupid. Yeah, thank you, Truth. He mentions it somewhere in these comments that they end up dying for him really easily on turn 1. They're too weak turn 1 for them to be good. That's just not the case. That's just not true. The only instance in which this unit takes damage is if they attack, or as if they get attacked before they attack, which can happen in one singular fight in the entire game. One time. They can get hit one time really hard and never again. Because once they get their super attacks in, which is really easy with their key mechanic, a lot better key mechanic than Beast, right? They're immediately invincible. Plus, they have the very easy revive condition where you literally just get to the next turn. They will transform, and then you will revive. And a lot of the times, depending on the fight, you end up dying before like anyone else can attack, so you don't really get that much benefit out of the support. But if you're able to get benefit out of that support, it is insanely strong offensive support that they just absolutely carry whatever thing there is on. I think the only shaft for this character is their standby doesn't put them on the Super Saiyan team, and I think that is a mistake, because I feel like they should be on Super Saiyan, because when they're in standby, it's literally Super Saiyan Vegeta. I think that should count as them being on the Super Saiyan team, but that's just me. If they were on the Super Saiyan team, I think they'd be even better, because then they buff this unit to make them do 1 million damage. It'd be hilarious. But yeah, I think he's just dumb, especially because this unit is just the same thing. It has the same problems as Gohan and Piccolo, but they're all the way up here. It doesn't make any sense. Majunior is better than half the TURs on this list, and half the characters that are above him right now, and I think it's kind of wild. Again, he has the same problem that these guys have. Just let him attack first, and then he's invincible. He has a giant mode. He's all these things that he likes out of all these other characters that he mentioned that he likes, but doesn't like him. And it's weird. It's just weird to me, because Majunior like hard carries any team that he's on really, really easily by just obliterating the enemy. Maybe he takes a little bit of damage. He eats every single super attack in the entire game. He can eat disadvantage super attacks for double digits. So I just don't get the hate here and why he's so low. And there's another guy in these replies, right? Who's like, yeah, everything below 15 is garbage, which is insane to me. And we're not even going to discuss that. The Super Saiyan 4s, I think they're actually a lot better now because of Pan. But I think they're just kind of old at this point, so it's not really that like much to weigh on. The Z Duo, I think they're at the very least better than Beast. So I think they should be a lot higher up again. But they have the same problem as like Sword of Hope, where they need to stack first and they can get frauded out really easily. This unit is irrelevant. I don't care for this unit at all. Kaba, I think, is way better than this garbage Gohan. Like, again, I don't like this Gohan at all. He doesn't buff any units really that well. And you can make the case, oh, he buffs these two on Hybrid Saiyans, but who's really running the Hybrid Saiyans team right now? I think AGL Golden Frieza being this low when you have characters like the LR Gods and Krillin this high is kind of crazy, because like I would take AGL Golden Frieza over Goaz and Zamasu. I would take him over the Tech Androids. I would take him over Krillin. I would take them over Tech Cell probably now, Gamma 1. A lot of these characters, AGL Golden Frieza is actually really, really still really good, and all you gotta do is stay above like 40% HP and you're fine. Superhero Pan sucks. I'm not even gonna get into that. She's dodge or die so hard that like she can't even take normals from any enemy in the entire game. She's literally the definition of dodge or die. People love Broly, Chila, and Lemo. I don't see the vision. I get it. 100% chance to dodge next to Bulma. I get it. But I feel like it's such a waste when you could have literally anything else. Ew. Just ew. He literally explodes to one touch of anything, and then you revive, and then he dies again. Chile being this low is kind of criminal, especially when you have units like these guys, Piccolo, you get it by now. Tech Tien, he's not buffing anybody crazy. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I think he's better than a couple other characters that are above him, i.e. Gods. Cough, cough, right. Ribian, I never really cared for. These guys, I don't even know why they're here. Gohan, I feel like, is getting heavily disrespected because on the Super Saiyan team, he actually is really, really solid on there, especially if he has his guard up. He is quite tanky. Even with the damage reduction up, he is very, very tanky. And then once he transforms, he's even tankier. I like him a lot. Not sure why we're hating on Pycon when the reason people like him is the same reason people like 17 and 18. I don't see why there's such a large divide here. I get it, 17 and 18 to do it immediately, but like, come on now. Yamcha, again, there's a problem because there's a physical enemy in the game right now that does a lot of damage. He's Ant, so he doesn't dodge, he dies. I think this is stupid. I see no reason why Vegito is this low. I know he's explained it a couple times, and he feels like Vegito is just bad, and I think he doesn't play the game properly. I don't know what he's playing or what he's doing, but he's got to be doing something wrong to think that Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Vegito was this bad. Like, he freely and easily beats every single piece of content in the game. He tanks everything in the game, drops 13 million attack stats 3 times, and then just walks off. And to have these two above him is insane to me when they literally do nothing but die. Golden Frieza being this low and this Golden Frieza is this high is stupid, especially when content in the game right now is short. Super Saiyan 3 Rose being better than Limit Breaker Vegito is dumb. It's just idiotic. And he said it before and it's been dumb before, so we're just going to move past that. I think this guy's actually criminally underrated. These guys, like this tier of character, like every character that he has from 36 to 45 is all pretty much worse than Limit Breaker Vegito and Dark Mask King, Golden Frieza. I think all of them are significantly worse than those three. Maybe Kaba. You can make an argument for Kaba because I actually really like Kaba and like Super Saiyan 3 Goku. You can maybe make an argument for them, but everybody else is like, no. Too old to be relevant. He just takes too much damage from normals. If you're running him next to him, there's literally no problems. I don't understand why he's so low. He's going to have the super tech counter if he ever gets super tech at all. Plus, he's on Battle of Wits. Like, you can run them with Orange Piccolo and get the Orange Piccolo. They're better because Orange Piccolo's on the team. Idiotic statement. No. They're actually really solid, and I like them a lot. Hell no. Hell no. Why are you so low? You literally can only take damage on turn 1, and after that, you never take damage again. Why the hell are they down here? I actually really like 21. I like the androids a lot. I like androids better than the majority of characters that are above them here. This is just dumb. AGL Super Vegito being this high is criminal when you have characters like AGL 21 that are not even on here, right? Like, why the hell is he here? Oh, because of the AoE normals, he can eat them barely. This guy doesn't have anyone that he buffs in the entire game besides these two. What the hell are they? Like, what is going on here? Tech Gohan is Tech Gohan, Gamma, or Android 8, and then LR Cell. And I think, now that we're approaching like basically 30 minutes of this video, I just want to point this out and leave this on the screen because I feel like at this point it just gets redundant. We're getting to the copium stages of the game right now, right? Where people are so bored waiting for new content to come out that we've just started lying and making shit up. And if you watch this far, I applaud you because there's been a lot of dumb shit. Just being on the team with Orange Piccolo does not inherently make you a better character because you yourself are not good, right? It's the equivalent of being on a group project doing literally nothing but having your name on it and claiming all the credit. It's the same thing. Orange Piccolo did all the work and you were just there. They are not nearly as good, Polarity, bro. And I mean this as no disrespect to you. I don't want to come out here and make it seem like I'm being mean or hateful. But come on, bro. You gotta wake up. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. Anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know how you guys feel about whatever the hell that tier list was. And Polarity, as a sign of respect from one Dokkan gamer to another, I'm going to give you the follow as a sign of respect to you. But you gotta chill. You gotta chill. You're doing all the wrong things, buddy. Something's up with you and I don't get what it is. But you gotta stop. It has to stop at some point. Anyway, let me know what you guys feel about this tier list and my thoughts on it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.